There is.
One. We are live, everybody. Welcome to AAA Live. Hold that thought. An award-winning channel! Call to Action 2019. So, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk actions, awards, and stuff like that. But I want everybody to know that today with us, we've got Chandru Dhandapani.
Hey, all. First, I have to say congrats on the award. I was there. I was very happy for all of you guys in Call to Action. Yeah, it was a well-deserved, well-earned award, and have to say congrats to all the other nominees too.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Chandru. Yeah, man, it was a hard-fought battle. This was a war between every member in this podcast and nobody else. Let's be honest. We were going to sweep that. Get out of here. Abby Friel would give us a run for our money. But no, all the love in the world to the rest of the community. All the nominees were fairly well earned on that one. Welcome to AAA Live, everybody. So today we've got Chandru with us, the first ever guest on this show. Chandru, you are blessing us as the first all-Asian guest.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honored. There's not a lot of us in this Showdown, so hopefully you get more guests as time goes on, and yeah, hopefully thanks for having me. I'm honored to be like the first guest on AAA. Like I watched your guys' show. It's a completely different take on the Showdown and what you guys offer. It's great. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, man. Me and Nat, we brainstormed this child all the way from episode 1. And the controversial one that you can't find in certain countries because we played too much anime in it, and it's now like copyrighted with that. So you either saw it or you didn't. Nat, what's AAA Live stand for? What's AAA for this week, buddy?
Oh, well, funny you should ask, because this week it's AAA stands for After Show Awards.
Where's that banner? Let me get that banner real quick.
There it is.
Oh, man. All right. Well, guys, so if this is your first time tuning in, this episode is going to be a little bit different. Normally, we have a segment where we do a poll and we do some talk about, what the poll is and whatever we throw that in. We're going to scrap that first segment for today, just for today, because this is the first show that we've had where me and Nat and also Chandru get to talk about call to actions win at the awards. And we kind of want to give her a hot take behind the scenes stuff, and it's not a hot cake. You tune in for a different show for that one. But we want to just talk about it and just kind of talk about our experience and everything like that. We aren't going to go, this isn't going to be a big award breakdown. This is just going to be a call to action reactor award after show. So we're going to talk about this for a little bit. Nat, why don't you just talk about what was your overall feelings going into it leading up? Were you 100% confident?
I wasn't 100% confident, no, but I was probably 85% confident. Like, I am very well aware of how much work everyone on the podcast has put in, and I definitely think we deserved it. But we had some pretty hard competition. Like, the Schmodown community is just so amazing, and everyone's so passionate. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find a fan base as passionate as the Schmodown community. And yeah, after we won the award, I couldn't believe it. Like, I can't believe it because I know how much hard work we put in, but it's just so surreal. Like, I really got into this community in around late 2017, back when Team Action had their awesome run. And I remember finding these group of people who all shared similar great taste in competitors. We just decided to start a podcast, and then now here we are. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, 2 years later down the road, Call to Action has been around for definitely a hot minute, but it's gone through some skin changes and all that rebuild and reformation. And this year just came in. I mean, everything just worked. It was truly the magic season, not only just for the Schmodown itself, but I think for the fan community, because I think that with the rundown taking that step back and late to the party not really being super active on their reaction stuff after being competitors and stuff, there was this big open gap in the community field and reactor field, and Call to Action just leapt on it. Like, right around April, May, we just bit our teeth into it. We said, this is ours and we're not leaving. And it's amazing, man. It really is. Like, I sat here and I try not to talk, it's weird to talk it up because it just, I'm trying to be humble about it. It's hard to be humble when you win, man. Like, it just, but like for real, the gravity of it is like listen, we got to win the award, and there's a lot of people who are in the Schmodown community who doesn't keep up with the fan content, and this was probably the first award they're like, all right, let's get this award over with. There's a lot of other awards we want to see. But for us here in the fan community doing the work and putting out the content and doing all this great stuff, like it's monumental. And this year especially, because this is the first year that the rundown stepped aside. Because let's be honest, a lot of, and full disclosure on the awards, a lot of it is a popularity contest, man. If they don't know who you are, they don't know how to vote for you. The Schmodown Rundown was always going to be voted often at the top because people who don't watch the show are just going to vote for what they know. Yep. And that's the Schmodown Rundown. It's sponsored. It's all that stuff. So, yeah, it was going to be cleaning up. And I love that they took the step back because that opened up to make it all of us other podcasters so much more hungry because we're like, we could actually win this year. So whenever we got our name called up there, oh, my God. Oh, man. They're like, it's history. We're in Schmodown history now. I gave a speech on stage that's aired on the internet for like a whole Schmodown awards thing. That's baffling to me. And I actually did a pretty good job. Humble brag to myself. I went back and watched it. I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to watch it because I was like, it was cringy. I don't remember what I said. I was just like, did my stuff land? Like, oh man. Yeah, so it was crazy. Lucas Shawshak, everybody. Let me get him in on here, of course. As I say, the midst of victory is the most important time to be humble. You're absolutely right. And here's the thing.
It's true.
All the praise in the world to Abby Friel, who is the most you know what? Everybody can say what they want. Abby Friel is the most creative reactor in the community right now. She is doing things way ahead of trends and doing it all in an impressive different way. Like she may not be landing it all the time on our YouTube channel. She'll be the first to tell you that. But the stuff that she puts out with like TikToks and her tweets and all that stuff like that, like she's changing the game. Like make no mistake, if we aren't going to evolve with her, she might steal it from us next year.
Yeah, for sure. Like she definitely puts out like such fun content, and she definitely has like one of the strongest social media presence out of all of us fans.
Yeah, I think if she had put word out to her followers, like they just would have swamped it. Like Schmodown Patreon would have jumped like 500% just for all of her voters getting like $1 voters, put her votes in, and they bounce out.
Just become patrons. And
yeah, like Kirsten would have been like, I don't know why we have $1,000 extra this month, but Abby Friel got a lot of votes. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. It just is all the praise in the world, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of the community evolves this season. Mm-hmm. I think that the pulse on a lot of reactors, they were pretty sure that we were going to take it, and that's not a brag. That's their words, not mine. You can ask them. But people saw like our name was getting dropped all the time. We were dropping mad money and said all the time. Like, like if we didn't get that award for our content, we might have just bought the award, honestly. But yeah, so we were in the spear, man. Like this was going to be our year, and I think a lot of people knew that going in. But this year gets me even more excited because I'm like, what? We've got Andrew DeMolanta getting into the scene. We've got like all these new factions podcast hopping in. I'm seeing like a new one every other day. Like,
yeah, this year has me really excited because like if you're watching the stream, if you're a fan of Schmodown and you have even the thought of becoming a reactor, having an after show, I encourage you to do it because I mean it's just an amazing experience to be like recognized by the Schmodown and everything. But just know that you're gonna have to come very hard because we're coming for that award next year too, and
we're going for 2.
Yeah, we set the bar, and we're going to continue to raise it in 2020. So, just do your best.
Yeah, absolutely right. Any new reactors, any fans in there who may be popping in a chat or anything like that, and you're like, oh, I want to get in the fan reactor, literally reach out to us. I want to see this whole community thrive because the rising tide raises all ships. So if we're all bringing that quality and we're all being in that, that makes our win even better when we take it at the end of this year. Again, that means that like this community is taking that next step up. So yeah, I want to see it all, man. Like, and I don't care to help either. Like, they're not going to get our contacts because I bust my ass at these live events talking to Chandru and all the other competitors for it. But yeah, any closing thoughts on the awards? We could go on. We could probably make a whole episode of this, and we almost all did. But the schedules is a thing with 15 different people, so we just spread the content over the week.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Chandru.
Go ahead, Nat.
I just wanted to say,
So
2019 was great and all, but we had 2 AAA lives, and in 2020 we're gonna have 25, 26 AAA lives. So I mean, that's quality right there.
Chandru.
So I was like I said, Abby Friel was a dark horse in that list of nominees, because the way she does her Twitter and TikTok, it was like way more accessible to people who might not have like an hour to just watch the reactions or like interviews on YouTube. So it was like an easy access thing, and she's done a great job of like reaching out, like you said, in other forms of social media as well. And I was like rooting for you guys as a friend of the show as well, and I know how much it meant to all of you. You were like in this like big table at the awards show too, and Danny even brought her mom for the show.
Yeah.
And it was so like heartwarming to see you all win, and it was a great show of unity as well, like where instead of everyone coming up to the mic and like taking their spot in the limelight, they just you guys just like all had Dylan speak as sort of the one voice who's representing all of you. That was very must have been a lot of pressure for you, Dylan, but like that to me showed that you guys are such a close knit group that no one is too bothered that only one of you gets to speak or anything like that too.
Right.
And that spoke volumes about who you are as a community as well.
Yeah, man. I'll even kind of wrap up on this thought, is that behind the scenes. So before, we had been hearing for a long time that we may not even get speeches at this awards.
Okay.
And we weren't even sure if the after show award was even going to air, or like we'd heard so many things saying that like we just were not even going to get stage presence at all. So literally minutes before the show, like as Mark Ellis is doing his little opening speech, I sit there and I look over to the other table and I'm like, guys, if we do speeches, how are we going to do that? Like, and because Mark Ellis was just like, you get 1 minute and you get off the stage. So like, you don't let it go on. And everybody was like, oh, Dylan, you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah, man, I guess I can. Like, nice. So, and like mentally, I've like, when you're a reactor and you get nominated and you get that stuff, you mentally prepare a speech in your head. Like I prepared mine for like months, but then it's like, now I get a minute of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many other things I want to say. I wanted to thank my wife. I wanted to thank like all the like random foster kids who found this channel, who was like, their therapist, and they're like, hey, that's my therapist. He podcasts. Like, there's so many people I want to thank. Fans, of course, I thanked in the speech. But yeah, I could have gone on and on. We are planning on doing an extended award speech video where
that'd be great.
Minute with that, because I think we all wanted to be able to say something, and I would have loved to pass the mic to everybody, but again, we had 1 minute and like 9 people up there, so like mathematically it wasn't going to work out. So I would love for us to do like an extended speech thing for us to kind of say more about how thankful we are, what we would have said if we all had a chance at the mic, and with just like a little bit more time. But stay tuned on that if you're interested in that. Anyway, that's that behind the scenes awards stuff. I want to take a quick comment from Chandru saying, sorry, I have a good camera, but I need to buy headphones so people can hear me. Chandru, good camera, totally on point. Get a mic that's like, listen, the mic I have, my setup is super basic, girl. Like, I have this mic right here. That mic's like maybe 30, 40 bucks. How do I sound fine. Like, I'm an award-winning podcaster, so I sound like, do not worry too much about the tech stuff, guys. A good camera that lets you do this and not lag for a million frames and have a decent mic, and you're good. Like, you just got to focus on your content, focus on being on that. That's my first tip into becoming an award-winning podcaster. I'm going to use that all year long.
All year long.
So, without further ado, guys, welcome back into the show, AAA Live. Let's get into the meat of this show. Let's get into some segments. We got Chandru. You've been too kind already to us. You know what? Let's talk about you, Chandru.
Yeah, let's. That's sweet of you. Yeah, let us talk about me.
Nat, can you explain the segment? How's my kayfabe to the
Okay. So basically, how's my KVIP is where we do a deep dive into certain competitors, just their overall character, their Schmodown persona, not necessarily their how they do in the questions, not necessarily on the trivia on themselves, but just the overall character, and we
Mhm.
just evaluate their character work.
Yep, perfectly nailed. And on today, we figured it was only fitting to have Chandru talk on himself on his own character because Chandru, I think you come from a very unique perspective on the spectrum of character, so to speak. The general spectrum is you got face and you have heel and everything in between. And then you also have the loony bin somewhere on a totally different spectrum, like
Just like off the charts.
way off the chart somewhere.
Who
They're
knows who they are?
possibly heel, possibly something else. The closest, like, I would put them on the heel side of the spectrum, but nowhere on the charts. Like, they're just way.
Yeah.
Chandra, I think that if I had to compare you to a character, not necessarily on the spectrum, like your positive overflowing energy is so face by default. Like, you are so much a face, not only in the show and outside of the show as well. Which makes you one of my favorite people to go talk to as soon as I go to a live event. I'm always talking to Chandru.
Yeah.
It has that great positivity to it. But you're not afraid to throw jabs in a match, though.
Yeah. If the heels come at me, like I bite back. It's an easy thing to do, especially when people are around you and like doing great heel work. So I'm so I don't know. Like I in personal life also like I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy, very positive, but like I have a little bit of edge to me as well, and especially when I'm competitive, that edge becomes like really sharp. So that's what I bring to the Shmoron as well. I feel like, and um, that throws off people a little bit, and that sort of like gives me a competitive advantage too. Like, and it's fun doing that. I've seen, but as long as I can do that without compromising my character in the Shmoron, like I still want to like see like play with the lines of like how many jabs I can throw. Yeah.
Sure. Nat, how would you put Chandru on the spectrum, the heel face spectrum? Where do you slam that guy on
Oh,
there?
he's just like super bad heel, like no, really. But like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like your character is just uniquely you, and you're not trying to be anything you're not. You're just bringing in your real personality into it, and I think we need more of that because I don't know, like it just shines through your personality. You're like a baby face who's not afraid to talk smack, and those are my favorite kinds of baby faces, like the Jason Inmans of the world,
Yeah.
Yep.
where you're like, if he would talk trash to you, you're not just gonna say, "Oh, thanks, never have a great match" or whatever. You will talk smack back, and I definitely think we need that. Yeah. So
Yeah, I love the character work in a way because you get clearly what's present. You get packaged a face, and then
Mhm.
if you open the package, you're like, "There's a little bit of tweener in here. There's a little box right here." So, which I think is great because you need to evolve with your competition. Because honestly, the kayfabe has evolved into being a strategy in the game. It really has.
It has, it does. Especially in my case, like I just wanted to bring like a unique perspective of mine. I feel like just because my presence, like without my character itself, is such a unique presence in this Showdown. Like there's not too many people from of like Asian descent or South Asian descent. Like just being me itself would offer something very unique to this Showdown, I thought, and I thought that there's certain aspects of me I could heighten, and that would like be an amazing character. And initially, like I said, Christian, and even in my first match, I came out as the zeitgeist.
Yeah,
Uh, so that was the whole point of it too, like just being cringily being on trend with everything, and that's where the floss came in, and like the shoot as well, and the backwards hat, and like
yeah.
just saying that the new sequel trilogy is my favorite Star Wars movie, and just random things like that that a new modern Gen Z person would say. too. And then as time went on, Christian like told me just before my second match started, like he's changed it up. Or actually, I found out while Mark was announcing my name that okay, I'm not the Zeitgeist anymore. I'm Chandru the Chosen. Okay, that's good. Good that I know it. And then just a little pivot, but a lot of the zeitgeisty elements still remain. And I was able to put more of myself into it because when you have the moniker of the chosen, like you can play up the fact that you've been chosen, like from some of the fans to actually play here. So it's a lot of zeitgeist still, but it's luckily because as Christian, who's been running this league for like 5 or 6 years, has definitely way better instincts about like characters and like names, character names than I do, and his instincts and helped with what to do with my character as well.
Right, and I remember thinking it was interesting that name switched so quickly. Like, I think some characters kind of have, like a little bit of a run before they're kind of like, this isn't gelling too well, and then they make a transition.
And then they change it.
Yeah, Inner Geekdom's in a strange place though with its character work and stuff like that, because generally speaking, outside of really Mike and this season Brandon Hanna, there really isn't a whole lot of character work to be said in IG. IG is a very black and white.
No, I would say Kevin Smets also does a lot of character work.
Yeah, Smets as well, of course, right.
But especially when I joined, it was a very like heel heavy division. Mara wasn't there. Rachel was also close to retiring, I think, at that point. So I was and I have some acting chops, and I pitched the character first to Christian, and it was like it's such a chaotic neutral character as Zeitgeist, and he could go face or heel based on what the division needs and what Christian wants.
Right.
And after the first match, we just saw so much outpouring positivity, even though I like lost the match. Like people were like, "Oh, we love Chandru and the presence that he brings." And I remember, but just before my second match, Christian just like comes up to me and said, "Oh yeah, did you see all the reactions that you're getting from that match? You're definitely not a heel, son."
Yeah, you came in very positive energy, and like I said, it's infectious. It really is, and that played so well to the show. Like, yeah, I'm with Christian on that. I was one of those people who was like, man, I think Chandru has really got it coming in. I can go back to that. I can literally go back to the reaction of watching the match in that Fatal 4-Way and thinking like, wow, that's awesome. Quick note, Nat, before we hop into this, Alex McFarland is also wanting in on the show. Alex, I just saw in the chat where you said you want another face on. You know what, Alex? Let me send you the link. You can pop in for this next segment.
Yes.
You want to hop on in? It's an all Asian, all award winning, all of it. Go ahead. Let me get you that link, girl. One sec. Nat, you wanna fill some time while I'm doing this?
Yeah, I think the thing with Chandru's character is like he brings a certain level of fun into the division, but it's not like happy-go-lucky. It's not like I think Brandon Meyer is a fantastic face. He's face of the year, but I don't think it makes sense for a character like him to be in Inner Geekdom because Inner Geekdom is so competitive that you need the trash talk. Like I think Chandru's character fits perfectly in it, and his chosen moniker is perfect because it conveys a certain level of confidence. I think Chandru's character fits perfectly in it.
Not interrupting the show at all is Alex Mack. Everybody, welcome. The all Asian cast has been united. Interrupting the show at all is Alex. Echo on your mic. You better stop.
I just realized I forgot to close the other tab where I was watching it. My bad.
I love my own voice, but not on loop. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love your hair, by the way.
Yeah.
I have like
all of the Mickey Mouse thing.
This
with the extra feather.
Here. That's okay. That's okay.
So, Alex, before you hopped in and interrupted Nat, he was giving Chandru an analysis of a little bit of his character work and stuff like that. There we go. Make sure that banner's right so everybody knows where we are in the show. Nat, you want to close your thoughts before Alex just boulders into this all?
Oh, well, I'm basically done. I'm just saying, like, I really like the chosen moniker because it's like it's good, but it's confident still. Like it's
Mhm.
not like you're not like getting walked over by anyone. You're standing your ground. You're who you are, and that's confident.
Alex, you were just viewing. Why don't we get a quick opinion from you on Chandru's kayfabe work? What do you think of all of it?
Kayfabe work? What kayfabe work? Just kidding. Whatever. Okay, so honestly, I honest to God feel like after like meeting you in person and like watching you on screen prior, I expected like maybe it was like an exaggerated version of yourself, but honest to God, you are the exact same person. And it makes me that much more excited when we have dance offs. It makes me feel like I'm right up there with you in a chewy outfit. Dancing away. But honestly, yeah, I think it's having characters like you where it is like completely genuine, where there isn't so much like huge character versus like or it's not such an obvious kind of character such as Smets or Jay Washington was, for example, when he was doing IG. It feels very different, which is to me, it's very refreshing compared versus a lot of the like heavy characters we have going on right now.
Yeah, I completely concur with that one, Alex. Like, I mean, the biggest thing I can always say is like one of the first people I generally want to talk to, and I'm not just saying that because he's on the show. Like Chandru knows, anytime I've been at a live event, I have talked to him at length about something. Probably times I will find something to go talk with him about because it is so heavily infectious. I love talking to Chandru. He's one of my favorite people in the community. The problem is with this division, though, Chandru, everybody, I really like the IG players. You all are making it really hard for me to figure out for me who I'm rooting for in any given match.
Not kidding. Not kidding. It's getting really, I don't want to say competitive. I mean, it's already like mega competitive, but in terms of like characters we all really enjoy, we love everyone. We love Smets. We love you. We love, you know, Roka's going into, wow, what happened?
Well, girl, hold on, let me get on your level real quick. I got my hair's too.
Oh gosh, what is happening here? I don't. Sorry, I didn't realize that I was gonna develop a fro situation.
What happens when I try to make Andrew's hair? Doesn't work on me.
I don't know what happened. But we have so many. We're so spoiled right now in terms of all these amazing competitors. And so if you like really intense, really intimidating characters, or if you like really, really wonderful faces or whatever it may be, there's just so much to choose from right now.
Yeah, exactly. And IG division, especially, I think it's just because like they get to we all get to sort of demonstrate or focus on how nerdy we all are, and like our different takes on being nerdy, Kevin takes like the competitive aspect of it, like Mike takes like the passion aspect of it, I take like the fun aspect of it. Like there's just so many different phases of being nerds and geeks about this thing, and it's just different facets of people who are watching as well, and it's just the pride that we all take in being geeks too, like knowing these random trivial knowledge that like no one needs to know about in their day-to-day life unless they're like actually writing a movie or writing a comic book. It's just and being so proud and happy about it, and it's being in a nurturing spot that just knowing this is something worth celebrating is what like makes people care more about this division than anything else, I feel like.
Right, and I love the commentary on it as well too. It's just that like it's I think it's because maybe for me we grew up in a perfect time to be geeks at our age because with the Marvel trend in movies and the DC and the comic book hero age that we're in, and it's really evolved being a nerd in a way where it's like Pokemon is so mainstream, and at the point where, I mean whatever, Pokemon was mainstream whenever it first came to the States, whenever I was like 8 and I was like lived by it. Speaking of geek people.
Oh,
we're going to talk about you here real soon, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about you real soon.
Yeah, but as I was saying, the geeky is mainstream now, and it's just it's perfect. It's a perfect time to be a hardcore geek because it's just like I get to watch movie trivia and they talk about nerdy comic book movies and stuff.
But if that's the case, honestly, if this is considered, if what was once geeky is now mainstream, it's not really geeky anymore.
No, it is.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like it's not dorky or geeky or nerdy or whatever to be into Marvel movies or Marvel comics or DC or Pokemon the movie and the games and everything. It's not, sure, it's like really niche stuff that it's not common knowledge, but by no means, at least anymore, all that much are people being like, oh, what a fucking nerd. No one likes him. Let's go beat him up or something. That's not gonna happen now. If anything, people will be like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Good for you. That's awesome.
I never understood the idea.
Let's bond over Ninja Turtles, man.
I never understood the idea of like making fun of someone for being passionate about something. Like, I think it's awesome that someone likes what they like and like they're so into it. Like, we should be celebrating that. And I think Intergeekdom does a really good job doing that.
Yeah. I love that aspect exactly. I think that describes perfectly why Intergeekdom is my favorite division, not just because that's the one where it's like these are all my favorite things that like I have knowledge about before the movies even hit, but it's just like seeing that overwhelming passion and love for it. Like, it's something where even if I'm not talking movie trivia showdown with Chandru or Brandon Hanna or Mike Downowski or any of these other people, like I can still just talk regular content, like just that we love in general, and I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. But anyway, we can talk more about how much we love Intergeekdom all day in this next segment, because we're about to transition over to perception versus reality. Nat, give us a rundown on what this segment's about. We have a question down here. Pick Robert Parker, round 2 pick. What's that mean?
Okay, so usually with this segment is we pick an idea like the community had, like something that we think is true, and we talk about the perception of it. And then we talk about the reality of it and what we think actually is the case.
I also want to ask, wasn't Jay White also a second round pick?
James White, yeah.
Yes, he was from the Droogs. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
so, okay.
So, I mean, we could have easily done this on James White, but Robert Parker went first really quickly in that round.
He went 10th overall. Like, he was like literally the first round 2 pick too. So, if you think about it, he's effectively round 1 in that case.
More or less a round 1 pick if you think about it. Smets was protected going in and everything like that. Before we get our opinions, Nat, we compiled some stats because this is a Sports Center official show and we get stats.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that stat process and how we got those stats to begin with?
So I did my homework on this one. Stick around, Robert Parker, because we're going to be complimenting the shit out of you. So for this segment, I looked at 4 of his most recent Intergeekdom matches. I think they're his most recent. They're the ones that Dylan found them for me, and they're all from 2019, I think. So the first match is the Harry Potter match, Robert Parker versus David Garcia versus Andrew Kelp versus Keith Kennedy. So this is all Harry Potter questions, all Wizarding World. He had, in round 1, he had a perfect round, 11 points plus the bonus. He had 8 possible points out of 10 in round 2. 1 question missed. He had 4 out of 5 questions stolen. In round 2, he only missed his 3rd point question. So he missed 3 questions out of the entire match. Obviously, he won. His next match, Full Metal Geek Championship title match, Robert Parker versus Sandy Robinson. He missed 4 matches in total in this entire match. He won that one, too. The next match is Geektacular Robert Parker versus Caleb Coho. He had a perfect match. He didn't miss a single question in this entire match. That's crazy. Next match we're looking at is Geektacular Hobbit versus Hot Fuzz Joe Pirelli. He missed 1 question this entire match. It was a Men in Black question. So if you look at his stats, so the category that we had the most data in is Harry Potter and Wizarding World. He had an accuracy rating of 87.87%. Yeah. Let's look at his lower ones first, and then we'll go up. So he's actually really good in Middle Earth, but I've only seen him answer 8 questions in this category, so we don't have an in-depth look. But he has 6 out of 8 questions correct. That's 75%. He missed 1 Men in Black question. He had 4 out of 5 Kingsman questions, so that's 80%. And looking at all the other categories, DCEU, MCU, directors, Star Wars, Who Said It, Heroes and Villains,
Rough.
Marvel, Mixed Bag, Star Trek. He had 100% in all of these categories.
100%.
100%.
Folks who aren't very good at math, that means he didn't miss a question.
Math, is that how it works?
That's
Yeah,
how it works.
Completely-
Nat,
And-
what's the overall percent ratio for Robert Parker in the matches that we got in this past year for him?
Okay, so looking at all of it, I've looked at 83 questions. He got 75 right, so that's 90.36%.
90.36%. If we compared that to Schmodown stats, let's say that this was
Okay.
Schmodown stuff, Robert Parker would have by about 5% the highest percent accuracy of all time. Now, granted,
No,
Okay.
Smets has like 89 something. Yeah, so he.
I really want to cut that down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, Dylan. And
all right, let's see the hype train get deflated or not. Let's take it from here, guys. So the stats say a lot. Is Parker worth the round 10, round 2?
So the Schmodown
Yeah.
is obviously a different animal. Like, you have to worry about the lights. You have to worry about performing in front of people. But I mean, obviously, if you look at these stats, the knowledge is there. Like, he's obviously obviously knows his stuff.
Mhm.
And Kevin Smets knows about him. He does his homework. Kevin Smets has talked to us after the awards about his logic in helping Kaiser decide to choose him. So they're not going to throw him up against the Wolves in his first couple matches. So there's a very strong likelihood that he's going to win both of his first two matches, and that's a lot of hope right there. So I absolutely think this is a good round 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just add on to the hype a little bit. These questions, like especially in the fan leagues, are usually like slightly tougher questions, especially in like Full Metal Geek and other fan leagues. The face-off, they try to be of the same difficulty. Movie trivia face-off, they try to be of the same difficulty as Schmodown. But the other fan leagues the questions are way tougher, even in the first round compared to what the Schmodown does, right? And to have a 90% accuracy in that league says a lot about him. And the fact that he is the question writer for Full Metal Geek, so he knows the other aspect of it too, like what to be on the lookout for in terms of questions and what type of questions can be asked when you watch a movie. What do you need to notice? Things like that. That is a very valuable skill too. And I've seen matches of him in both like general IG and specific like exhibition matches, both in like Middle Earth, Harry Potter, and whatnot. I feel like he knows as much about Middle Earth as Rachel, if not more. And that is like in the fan leagues, he's called the Hobbit too. So he's like a strong proponent of the Hobbit movies as well. And so accuracy wise, knowledge wise, like it's all there, and it's just a matter of and he has some on stage experience as well. Like I know he's a stand-up comic, so he kind of doesn't crumble under pressure under lights too. And I think it would have been a bad round 2 pick for any other manager, except for Kaiser, because every other manager, we knew their strategy going in, right? They wanted a strong A team in their first 2 rounds as their first 2 round picks, and then third round is where most of them focused on Inner Geekdom. And but Kaiser had this like peculiar situation where he had the strongest Inner Geekdom player as of now, with Kevin Smets already in his faction, which means whoever he's going to pick in the second and third round would be his team. And as we know, like those 2 would not be as strong as like the other 8 teams of like the different factions, plus who's the boss, who's also like the other A team in Founding Fathers. If in Stock Exchange they have like 2 A teams.
Mhm.
So his strategy of going like, okay, if I can't have a really strong A team, I'm going to put all of my eggs in the IG basket, and taking
Parker.
Parker was a really strong case. So if assuming like he has some sort of the similar trajectory to what Kevin Smith had, or maybe even a better trajectory, he would have 4 matches before his 4 matches to get his title match, and assuming he wins all of those, because as a manager, that's what you assume, like when you're gambling on a person. It's like 12 points already, and let's just say 1 or 2 of those are knockouts. So you get 14 points, which is already more than any single player can give you in a whole season. So so it's a really good pick. Robert Parker, especially with how much knowledge he has, is a really good pick in round 2, especially for Kaiser, I would say, because at that point he isn't strong to compete with a really strong team as in the other factions. Like there are some killer teams at that point already, and him swerving and taking an IG player was a really good move. And at the end of the season, we'll see how many points Parker brought to the dungeon, like all on his own.
Yeah. Alex, you see the hype going down the aisle. You got stats, you got personal competition already saying that they're like, nah, the hype's real. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Parker?
I think he's wonderful. I mean, you can't deny the man is mega talented. I'm super excited to see him actually under lights doing that. It is, to me, honestly, I feel like it's a very unconventional approach when it comes to gathering points. I understand IG is going to be earning more points than other factions. However, I don't feel like it's worth a second round. Personally, if it is going to be a second round, I'm surprised RMB didn't go for him or Winston, to be honest. If it had to be a second round, just because other factions don't have any IG players. Didn't when it comes to drafting, they didn't have any other IG players at the time. So to me, that's definitely a very different approach. And Kaiser, to me, I'm like, here it is, a champion with his team. Why would he want to load up on some added IG competition? But now that being said, it is, like I mentioned, just a very different strategy. I know he's a comedian. He's no stranger to being under the lights. I am very curious about how he is going to be doing several matches at a time. Now, is he moving to LA or what's the situation?
As of now, he's still from out of state, so he's going to be flying in for the matches. So maybe they double schedule. Yeah.
So hypothetically, when he does do matches, which is going to be, no pressure, Robert. I mean, I know you're going to be amazing regardless. It's all good. Regardless, I know it's inevitable for sure. Thing is, when he is going to be playing, he's not exactly from the LA area. Therefore, whenever he comes in to play on, once every other month, or I don't know how they schedule it, whatever the situation is, they're probably going to line up 2 or 3 matches back to back. People don't win that many matches back to back.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So if you do play 2 or 3 matches all in one day, awesome. If you win all of them, oh my gosh, that you should get a belt right there. I mean, that's crazy. However, that never happens to anyone. It didn't happen for Kalinowski. It doesn't happen for Schneider. It didn't happen for Roca. There's just not a great history of people doing multiple matches in one day. Now, again, not to say that he can't be the first one to really thrive under that environment. I would love to see that happen. Again, it's just, do you feel like all that in consideration is really a good risk versus other competitors?
Right.
For the second round.
I think at that time there was still a lot of heavy hitters in the singles division that could have doubled up on divisions or leagues with.
Wasn't Oyama still available at that time?
No, Oyama was already taken by Winston.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Like if Oyama was available, Kaiser would have pounced on that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. I remember thinking, Oyama, that feels wrong. Yeah. How is he not there?
Right, because I think there might have even been if I recall right, I think I saw Oyama actually might be going into IG, or there's another player going into IG, I think, or something like that.
Merle?
No, I know Merle was.
Merle, yeah, it's according to Frank's list. It said Paul Oyama is looking into singles teams and IG.
Right.
And he'll do great in IG. I think he's done some in the fan leagues as well. And it's like once you're a strong enough player in the regular movie trivia, like it only takes another small step to become a really good IG player. Like especially for someone who's as young as Paul, like he must have already seen most of these movies. It's just a matter of like getting your details correct.
Right, studying the
And
facts for it.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
But we're not here to talk about Oyama. Whatever. We
Mhm.
love Oyama, but
That's
he.
a whole other episode.
And I think this was between like why Kaiser chose, yeah, why Kaiser chose Parker when he has Smets already. It's a really good question. Even if you assume everything goes right, they would have a match facing each other only like in the middle of the season, somewhere during the collision, somewhere during collision or something like that, right? So
Right.
you've already racked up enough points. I don't think Kaiser would want to trade him away at that point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
because it's a win-win for them, right? Whoever wins the dungeon gets like 5 points, 5 points, four for the winner and one for the person who lost the title match already. This is assuming there's no knockout. And with Kaiser, with Kevin and Robert playing, I don't expect a knockout from either end as well. So it sort of keeps him away from other managers, keep the really strong threat to Smets away from other managers. That's a really smart play.
Yeah.
As well as if he didn't take it, like you said, Winston would have pounced on him, or Robert Meyer Burnett would have pounced on him, or worst case scenario just in the beginning of third round, because most of the people's second round was already locked in. Sam Levine would have taken him, and you don't want any of that. And if you want to avoid that, Robert, because at the third round was when everyone will be looking at IG, and the only reason Sam didn't take an IG player was Janine was still available in the third round, right? That was a travesty in itself. But
And you- too.
but yeah, you don't want to leave Robert Parker on the table when round three is starting, and that's a good move by Kaiser. He even like slid down. I don't know if he could have just had it without sliding. Could have just had him without sliding down, but sliding down was also a really good idea if you wanted to keep him out of everyone else's hand.
Well,
Right.
what I'm hearing though overall
Mm-hmm.
is that he didn't so much want him for himself. He just wanted away from everyone else.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Honestly, there's nothing wrong.
that's
I mean,
one big part of it
there's
too.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just playing to you're not just like there to grab as many points as possible. You're also there to keep points away from other teams' hands, right? That's why I like Shannon's heel move of breaking. That's where Shannon's heel move of breaking up the wild berries comes from. Because if she and other managers if she and the other managers let Dewberry slide down to round 5 and let the swag squad actually take him, like we know the league and the fans love the Wildberries, so they're gonna have at least two matches. Whether they have at least 2 or 3 matches this season, whether they win or not is a different question. But they show they have like the knowledge and can actually play some 30-pointer matches with like the match they had against Late to the Party too. So you're not just playing to grab points for your own team. You're trying to. So Shannon at that point was like playing to get Dewberry into her team and also to keep Dewberry to keep the Wildberries like from falling to Winston by default too. So it's kind of like a 3D chess that you should be playing at that point.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely think it's pretty smart because once Smets
Mhm.
and Parker eventually face off, you're keeping points in the dungeon, like no matter who wins.
Exactly.
Yeah, and quick shout out to John Mariano. I am also from Queens, so respect there. Also, I just want to say, like, I play a lot of fantasy sports, and there's definitely merit to like not to just waiting to pick someone up because they're gonna be there eventually, but there's also merit to taking the best player on the board, and I think at that point, Robert Parker was the best player on the board. So you don't let Saquon Barkley slide when you have him right there to pick up.
Exactly. Especially he has an amazing advantage of starting out as a rookie, which means he's going to have like a longer run to get to the belt than any other player. Like Brandon Hanna might only have like 2 or 3 matches before he gets to the belt if he wins all of them. I might only have 2 matches before I get to the title match. before I get to the title match, right? Because of what our current ranking is and what our current records are. So, but Robert would have easily four matches going to the title match, and it at this point, if you believe in him, in his knowledge, and if you believe in his ability to convert and like win every match, and like not believe in him to not buckle under the pressure, and if you think you would be able to like keep his mind clear for all the matches, then that's a very good gamble, I would say. It's a high risk gamble for sure, and I'm sure it's going to be like a high reward one as well.
Right. Yeah, totally agree. We've been talking about Parker for a little bit. I'll kind of wrap up. I like that insight, thinking that as a rookie, he definitely has those more matches to kind of go up there, which gives him more chances to rack up points.
And the fact that Christina has been like building him up as this rookie sensation. Of course, he would want to schedule as many matches as possible, because last season he was building up Kevin Smith as a rookie sensation, and he kept scheduling matches too. So at that point, you need to look at the chairman and like how many matches he's scheduling for them to who can actually get matches. Who can win matches is one thing, and who can actually get matches is also an important thing. And from both perspectives, Robert Parker is a really good pick.
Yep, totally agree. I think that he's going to be one of those desirable ones, and he's going to get a match very sooner rather than later on that. But
agreed.
I did hear one name that you mentioned in that little discussion earlier, and you mentioned Brandon Hanna, which is a great transition for our last segment of the night, everybody. We've got Competitors Corner, and we are talking about Brandon Hanna. This is all IG, all the good stuff matches.
Yep, I can never escape his name.
Yep. Nat, you want to tell the fans what Competitors Corner is? What is this?
So basically, this is the opposite of the last segment we just did, where we don't focus on character at all. We focus all on stats, all on gameplay, all on strategy, and we tell you how to beat them.
Oh.
Yeah, this is your study guide for if you're coming up and you're going to play Brandon Hanna in the leagues. Robert Parker, I'm talking to you, buddy. If you're still in this chat, you may want to stay tuned for this segment, because there's a possibility you bump into the Hitman himself. And we're here to break down Brandon Hanna. Guaranteed victory, guys. You watch this show, no more problems with Brandon Hanna. It's done. That's not true. Brandon Hanna is an extravagantly good competitor. And I'm going to go to the stats.
He's also mentioned on Twitter, though, that he's changing a lot of things up study-wise. So I'm really curious what he's going to bring to the table.
He'll build and hype for that study sessions, but let me break down some stats for you guys with Brandon Hanna really quick. I know this is usually the boring part, so let me skim on this part. Brandon Hanna, across the board, has really one true strength that I can say that's pretty universal for most IG players, and it's who said it. In his entire run, Brandon Hanna's only had three games so far, so his record's not expansive. I can't say for sure that this is one thing, this is another. There's no conclusive stuff here because of the amount of
He's only had 3 matches?
Only 3. There was the
Sorry, Brandon. Not sorry.
Damn.
Oh, snap.
So,
I can just picture Hanna just like cracking pencils in the distance. Like, I heard it.
Wow. Parker going heel early into the show. We're getting a sneak peek on that. So,
they don't mess around in the dungeon.
So, show some respect. Brandon Hanna is a pretty damn good person. Chandru, he has one win over you and Chance Ellison and 2 other competitors on there. Now, granted, you did get him back in the comeback, but it's still 1-1 for you guys in my book. So, without further ado, Brandon Hanna has missed 2 questions and who said it, which, all right, that's not a whole lot, Dylan. I get it. Listen, but this is Brandon Hanna's credit. Brandon Hanna has missed one question in a bunch of separate other categories. Literally, the technical list. Here's the list. Some of the questions on here, I'll admit, were kind of bad questions. There was a movie release dates question on a Marvel section where it asked, I think it was Ghost Rider.
It was Ghost Rider, yeah.
Right, Ghost Rider.
He said his name 3 times.
He heard it, and he's here, so I wasn't giving you a 50-second chance. Brandon Hanna, we're showing all the respect to you in the world, buddy, by telling
You're being given a 50-second chance in this season, Brandon.
Save the promos. Let me get the stats out of the way.
Sorry.
Brandon Hanna has. Here's the thing. Here's the genius to Brandon Hanna's weaknesses. He's not really got any besides, like I said, who said it? It's the only thing he's missed more than one question in per category. Now, he's missed one in a lot of separate categories, but that just means that he's extremely well-rounded. And in 3 matches, that shows that, listen, his accuracy rate's very solid. It's sneaking up right behind Chandru's. So, and that shows really well performance across the board. Going into in the match stuff. So out of the match, we have, you have your base statistics and all that, and that's great, whatever. Brandon Hanna is very smart. He knows his shit. So he's going to come in here, and he's going to score very well in round 1. Some of the decats may get him. The Who Said It category, if he rolls opponent's choice, will probably hurt him if you've watched his match with Chandru. But talking in the match, whenever you're doing, let's say, like kayfabe or something, or trying to fight him with that, Chandru, I want to get your opinion as somebody who's played him twice with one over him on that. What are your thoughts? What's your strategy going into playing Brandon Hanna?
I'm not gonna tell all of my strategies out loud, but he's a very emotional player. So so missing a question rattles him more than he lets out. You notice that in the first ever question in my first match against like in the fatal 4-way too. Like he misses the very first question, and so the lights get to him a little bit in that sense, right? Because both of us were debuting in that match. Other than that, I think it's like knowledge-wise, like you said, he's a person that studies. Although if you don't know the release year of every IG movie, there's only like 100 to 200 of them. If you don't know the release year of every IG movie, especially in your second match, I don't know if you're a worthy competitor. Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
Do you not know?
Only like 150 movies.
Yeah, you don't know 150 movie release dates, you fool. No, that's not
Common knowledge, guys.
right.
And yeah, and then he has a little bit of a hot button problem. Like he jumps at questions, like the same thing with Kevin Smith had with like Don't Tell Peter. He has jumped on like multiple questions and said the wrong answer. Especially the last match against me comes to mind, where if he thought about it a little bit more, he might have had the Tony Stark question in Civil War, and he might have had vulture droids and not bug droids. So that those two ended up costing him the match, and I would have still won, and it could have been a match of the year nominee, that match, and sadly because he missed those questions, it ended up being a TKO. So that's one thing to be on the lookout for. So if he gets rattled, he might not take a moment and refocus or get back in the zone. The lights might get to him a little bit in that sense.
Do you feel like that might change at all here this coming season, since he's done several more matches since, and then
no, he's definitely changed. He said he's definitely changed up his study technique since then. So you never know, especially with a long break such as this, and in IG, where you can easily improve, right? Again, because if you're putting in the time and if you're putting in the study, like Emily Rose Jacobson has showed, your previous matches are not completely you're not fully reflective of what your actual skills are. So there's always room to improve, especially in IG. There's a lot of the learning curve can be as steep as you make it out to be, right? And so in that sense, he can definitely come out with a lot of knowledge and finally study the movie release dates of those 150 movies. And and we'll see. But the thing is, some aspects of it you can't change, which is probably your personality and his propensity to actually go into trash talking and have that sort of take focus away from the game a little bit, trying to gain the advantage by do kayfabing and getting the competitors riled up might not always work. Even if you have guy walk out with you and bark at your opponent. How did that work out, Brandon?
Right. Being able to turn on that kayfabe side, Brandon Hanna's totally handsome. He is. Brandon
He
Hanna.
is intensely handsome.
Very
He's
Yeah.
a man for a reason, guys.
I won't fault him for that. But yeah, I cannot wait. I'm gonna sneak preview away from this for just a quick second. I cannot wait for your guys' rematch, Chandru. I'm telling you
I would love a rematch, but that means he would have to win against Robert Parker. I guess so we'll see how that works out.
Hey man, listen. I'm not sleeping on Brandon.
Rangers,
More than
yeah.
I'm sleeping on you because you guys are very toe to toe. In my book, you guys are right there on the wire. You had a little bit more success this last season, but I think that hunger is going to make Brandon Hanna even more ambitious and wanting to be pushed that much harder. And hunger says a lot in IG. Even more so, I know he's got some solid strategies. I'm not going to share on air. I talked with him about this, and he's got a very solid strategy for Chandru going into his match. But that's not an episode we're sharing on any of this stuff. It's confidential, good reporting. We don't share all those secrets on here. Just exactly how to do it.
That's strictly off air, right?
Yeah. No, that's why I feel like if anyone in the top 5, I would have like a lot of fun playing Kevin, Mike, Mara, Brandon. So we're all like kind of neck to neck. It's just like it just depends on any given schmo day, right? Like I came close to defeating Kevin, if not for the challenge, or like if not for one question, if not for the challenge going Kevin's way, or like if not for one question falling in my space. So anything can happen in this showdown. Like, and the exciting part is, like you said, even in accuracy and PPE, both Brandon and I are like evenly matched, and you could see that in our second match too, going like head to head. Like both of us had perfect first rounds, which is the only time that has happened in IG. And he had a little slip up with who said it. Like you said, it's his weakness. If not for that, it would have been one of the nominees for match of the year too. So that would be a rematch that I would be like really really excited for as well. And again, like I said, Mike, Mara, Kevin, a rematch with Kevin, any of those would be also like really exciting. And one of the biggest reasons I'm excited about a match with Brandon is like his manager and my manager are both like SEN personalities, so having them trash talk against each other like leading up to the match and during the match would also be a lot of fun to like watch and observe, as opposed to like what
there's so many different levels on this.
There's so many different levels to this rivalry. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The social media as well. You guys are on point.
Yeah.
I love he's posted like a few gifs of him. It would be like, yeah, so many people are saying they love Chandru, and I'm over here like, or it would be, or whatever the thing was. It was wonderful, though. So I cannot wait to see more of this.
My favorite one
forward in social media.
I'm gonna give a nod to social media on Hannah right now because I saw one today where it was like pick your favorite competitor who didn't get picked in the draft, and Brandon Hannah put Chandru. And like it's not even factual, but just reading it, I'm just like, Brandon Hannah, you gem. Like
exactly, like he's trying to ride my coattails to fame. It's fine. Like it just basically making jokes about me, gets a lot of likes and a lot of retweets, and that's awesome, man. Like if you were actually in a number 1 contenders match, I would do that about you. I would tweet about you to stay relevant too.
See, this is why Intergeekdom is my favorite division, because like this is low key my favorite rivalry
ever. It's just like so across the board. I love it. It's so good.
And I love that the rivalries, like literally all the rivalries of like the top 5 players, top 5. So that's going to keep expanding. Like the top 5 is now going to become like the top 6 or 7 as like a chip level like tier. And it's just getting so out of hand, and everybody's just going to be building all these things with it. IG is the thriving division. Listen, I love my teams is a very close second for me now because teams has been absurd, but IG. Oh man, it's season. I think it's going to steal the show for this rest of the season.
Well, there's a reason why it's making the most points out of all the leagues. So
that's true.
Exactly.
And they're doing 2 IG tournaments this season. So
2?
Yeah, we're doing 2 tournaments. I thought.
No,
I thought it was one tournament, one IG tournament this season. Maybe you know more than I do.
Are you sure? Am I sure? I don't remember. I had to go double check now.
Okay.
we had vodka and lots of other alcohol for breakfast that whole day, so we could just be making stuff up. But Nat, Alex, Competitors Corner, I mean, Chandru kind of covered all of our bases on that, so I don't want to put anymore on that one, which is why we have him on the show. If we have somebody, Brandon Hanna. I just had to look up stats.
Yeah, no, you should. You guys should actually like know more about it, like, because all of these things I talked about, like, I already know. Like, what can you tell me, like, from your study of him? And
so I'll say really quickly, and I'll pass it to Nat and Alex and see if I didn't give Alex a whole bunch of like time to go study. She hopped onto the show, so
Honestly,
I literally just got done with work and I hopped on and I was like, I'm done. Let me get on.
And I'm afraid if you're an Asian host on this whole podcast, just hop on in.
Yeah.
Open door.
Chandru, out of the 4 people on the stream, I rank Alex the most beautiful and Chandru the ugliest. Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Rude.
Very rude. And also, Chandru is the hot man of like all of us. So.
Oh my god! Thank you.
He wears brown the best out of all 4 of us, so make no mistake, he's killing it, 100%.
I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah. So, all right, my quick thoughts.
Okay, I'll take it. I think it's still a compliment.
That makes me uncomfortable, but okay. Okay.
Sorry. Listen.
Okay, moving on. Dylan, you were saying something.
As the whitest,
Oh my God.
we're not gonna get into that. We're not here for this. We're not here for this. So anyway, listen. Yeah, Chandru covered a lot of great points on that stuff. He covered a lot of the points I was going to make. I think that, Brandon is one that he's quicker to answer. And you found the perfect question I was going to use is that, who said it? Civil War question between Captain America and Tony Stark. I remember, man, he was quick to gun that one. He's quicker to maybe fluster himself in the match, kind of as you said yourself. He's if he takes those losses on missing a question or misses that lead, that in the past he's more likely to sit there and kind of beat himself up. So I think if you're a heel going into this match, for example, now Chandru can play this however he wants to. He's in that sweet tweener verse of being just a great face while also poking it when he needs to. But if you're a heel playing Brandon Hanna and you know that you're going to have that heel mentality going against another heel, it's just going to be a bicker fest. I want to see almost Andrew Guy levels of seeing like, no, you need to be like, wow, you missed a question in IG on round 1. Pathetic. Like, you need to go all in on that. Like, no holds bar viciousness. Other than that, in the trivia stuff, like, he knows his questions, so you're going to be going toe for toe for him. I can't really say there's a strategy in the wheel round. Getting him get this opponent's choice seems to work pretty well. But other than that, Nat, did you have any observations or quick thoughts on that? I know Chandru covered a lot of it for us.
Yeah, he pretty much covered everything. I mean, it's really hard to game plan for someone in the upper tier of the Geekdom division because, like, what are their weaknesses? Like, he's just
none.
so.
That's the goal, right? To have no weaknesses whatsoever.
2 questions. That's what we consider a weakness in this category at this level of play. Like,
wait, so you're saying he's missed a question everything?
And also, what year was the original Ninja Turtles movie released in theaters?
1990.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, Brandon, I appreciate that a little bit more. We don't go off the list here. That's poor taste, but you cannot like him because he's mean. That's fair. Chandru,
okay.
Pretty heel stuff on the show. But we're not cutting promos, Chandru. We're not cutting promos.
We're not cutting promos. He brings out the edge in me like more than any other person.
Well,
I just love talking shit about him.
He's literally gonna throw a kitchen sink at you this season. That's on record.
Okay.
Guys, that's pretty much our show. Unless we want to do some closing thoughts. Nat, any closing thoughts? Alex, any closing thoughts? Chandru, you have all the thoughts, I'm sure.
I mean, 2020 is going to be a great year for Geekdom. I can feel like I truly don't know who's going to be champion at the end of all this.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a coin toss. Like, yeah, Kevin is just as likely to retain the title as it is being 5 new champions throughout the whole season.
Yeah. It's hard for me to see someone beating Kevin Smets, but it's hard for me to see someone beating a lot of people in this division. So
But yeah, right. Like, it's hard for me to imagine Smets losing, but it's also hard for me not to see Chandru being a champion or Hannah being a champion at some point, or Parker with a 90% accuracy coming in, being a champion coming in.
yeah,
You're in that case, but you are forgetting we have so many new rookies coming in that
IG.
are going to be going
As
into
well.
IG. Like Zipper said, he might be competing in 3 leagues, team, singles, as well as IG. Who knows? He mentioned that he wants singles to be his real focus, but he's like he'd be more than welcome to come back to IG. Don't forget about him, or don't forget about I can't remember which one.
Emily Rose
Is Eric
Jacobson.
going to be in? Is Eric going to be in IG, or is he more singles and teams, that kind of thing? I can't remember.
Who?
But I mean, obviously, I mean, there's just
not trying.
Let us know. I forget. I'm pretty sure you said like singles and stuff, but let us know.
singles. Okay, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of IG specific competitors that we are forgetting, and so I do kind of hope we be able. Oh, see how Wham Bam.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I feel like
And there's a
conversation at some point.
there's a lot more. Emily Rose Jacobson is still in IG. She has a live match. Damon Morrow, like champions from other divisions coming into IG. I think Ace Cabrera would want to do, or he would want to do Star Wars at IG, like in our division, in our faction. Adam Hlavik is still there. Like he wants to get his hat in the ring again. Roka wants to do Star Wars. I don't know if he wants to do IG as well. Like in backstage today, he mentioned IG a lot. Yeah. And there's just way more rookies who are also like specific to IG. Warfather was picked up by Robert My Burnett. David Moore is still a free agent out there.
The Barbarian was the one drafted by
Dagnino. I don't know.
Warhammer. Forget about Warhammer.
Warfather, yeah.
Warfather. That's not Warhammer. Yes, thank you, Warfather.
So,
yeah, there's enough people to even do like a 16-person IG tournament. We'll see how it all shakes out in the end.
Threaten me with a good time, Chandru. Oh my god.
You know what? Speaking of, what if Chandru and Hannah were pitched for the same faction?
We weren't. Wait, what if?
What if?
For the fact.
What? Yeah. Oh, okay.
What if they were for the same?
You guys were both in swag, or if you were in the den, like what would that? Oh.
I mean, Winston wouldn't have picked anyone without swagger, so there's no way he was picking the Hitman.
I appreciate that, Brandon.
You're cool too, Brandon.
Yeah, you're a good guy. I love you both. This is like if I were much older, I would say this is like a dad watching his 2 sons fight. But I'm like your guys' age, so this is just like watching 2 of my brothers fight.
I just like the emoji that comes with it.
I know.
Mm-hmm. and yeah, Kate picked Brandon because I was not available at that time, and if she had me, like she wouldn't have gone ahead and picked Brandon too. So.
Woo!
So there's no way we would have been in the same faction, and if we were, like one of us would have asked for a trade.
Yeah, and normally this stays a little bit more sports centered, but I'm gonna let this show go on for a couple more minutes and ruin my bedtime because Parker comes in. Is Brandon and Chandru top 10 rivalry?
100%.
5. I think at this point the top 5, I'm not gonna put the 5 up because Jake's gonna Photoshop
it.
That's a great question. Kevin Smets is now also joining us. Everybody, the whole
IG. Oh my God, everyone is here.
House. Kevin, we're going to be wrapping up this episode shortly, so you're tuning in at a wonderful time. You missed us talking about how to beat Brandon Hannah, and also a gratuitous amount of shit talk going on.
It's fine. Kevin doesn't need to worry about it. Brandon's never making it up to Kevin Smets.
The snappiest of snaps.
Brienne. Janine also in here.
Janine is also here. Hey, Janine. Oh my God, this is
I
a star-studded chat
stream.
Sam. Yeah.
Probably one of the best combos ever.
I want to hang out with the chat and talk with them, but guys, all good things must come to an end. AKA, I have to work tomorrow. I have children's lives to save. I work for a foster care, guys. Let me do this. What? They're not dying. It's okay. Not currently. I haven't been told otherwise, but I'm not here to talk about that. This is my other job. This is the what kind of podcast is this? This is an award-winning channel.
Yes.
Ah,
you brought it back.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna leave it off on that one. Guys, let's do some plugs and get on out of here. This chat's gonna keep promoting me to keep on this episode going, and I do want to sleep. Nat, why don't you start us out, buddy? Plug us away.
You can find me on Twitter at NattyIce44, and I'm NatVu on the Facebook groups. You can find me back here on the show 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks. Alex.
It's my turn.
Wait,
Who are you pointing at? I can't.
but this camera never works. There we
Are you
go.
talking to me?
Yeah, go ahead. Plug.
Oh, I'm Alex Mack, known as Mac Daddy, part of the C2A crew. And you can find us on Facebook, and that would be really dapper if you liked our page. But also, please check us out on Twitter. I actually run the Twitter page for Call to Action, so definitely check us out there at Call to Action Pod.
Kevin Smets telling Brandon Chandru behave. Maybe one of my favorite things to come out of this episode.
It's such a like a big brother, like elder brother thing for him to be like,
Oh
don't
man.
make me come.
Who's the big brother? Who's the father? Would be Harloff and Ellis.
I don't know. Mike can't really be dad.
I think Ellis is the fun uncle,
Yeah.
and Harloff has to be the
Harloff
father.
would be like the cool older brother that's like in college.
Yeah.
Who?
A cool.
Kalinowski.
Kalinowski. Oh, he's the cool.
Yeah, the cool like
He's
older
the cool
brother.
like
in college or
older
something.
brother who's in college who's just like wearing a leather jacket, and he's just like
He's like
home for the holidays and that's
living
it.
abroad part time in France, learning about French movies or something. Casually
Right.
eating croissants in cafes.
Alex, there's a Schmobates question for you. Who is the dad of the IG division?
There you go.
Ooh, daddy.
Who's Big Papa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spence, you're gonna want to catch up, buddy. This episode is packed full of IG stuff. We talk about Parker in great detail. We talk about Hannah. We talk about all the good stuff. We brag on ourselves for about 15 minutes. It's a great episode. Catch it whenever.
Yeah, it's a great episode. Like I talk great things about them for like 15 minutes, and they talk great things about me for 15 minutes, and then and then we both talk great things about Parker for 15 minutes, and then we all trash Brandon. Like this is everything I could have asked for in an episode.
That's what we try to accomplish here at AAA. And we try to get a little bit of positivity and good, deep knowledge into this one. Chandru, my man, where can they catch you at?
At Chandru Things, like you can see on my handle right here, on Twitter, Instagram, and all the socials. And there's Facebook groups both for me specifically, and I'm gonna start training there pretty soon. Like I'm gonna do like 3 to 5 movies a day, and go pretty deep into it. I'm not gonna watch all of the 3 to 5 movies, but I'm gonna study 3 to 5 movies a day because like I don't have the time to watch them because I have a day job.
Do you work like?
I have a day job as well, but like I'll study 3 to 5 movies a day, and like I'm gonna ask if you want to help me train and like throw questions at me from any of those movies. Like join the Drew Crew fan group, like the Facebook page. Some of these people here are admins in those, and I think Adelaide Spence is also like an admin there. And so it's gonna be a lot of fun. And there's another Facebook fan group for the Swag Squad as well. So feel free to join all of those, any or all of those, and like help me train and help us train. It's gonna be a fun season, and I can't wait to get close to that bet.
Oh man, you're reminding me of all the extra Facebook page I'm gonna get notifications from because we have factions with Facebook pages now.
Yep.
90. My notifications button is just gonna be 99 anytime you does a post.
The entire time. Just means you're popular, man.
I know. And I keep putting mods in all of them. I don't know how that goes. I keep falling up the ladder. But anyway, guys, you can catch me at this show at the Call to Action channel, which is an award-winning channel. Sorry, I had to do one more time before we got off air on that one. There's the Slice. The Slice is actually
In possession with Danny Joy, so you might see it on Chill. I don't remember if she shows it on that one or not, but
This is a pretty close replica, though.
That's a pretty close replica, yeah. As someone who's seen it in person, I would say it's close.
You can catch me on Twitter at CAMACH Octopus. Don't say that word aloud 3 times. You will summon a weird tentacle demon into your home. You can catch me at this channel at all times. We do this wonderful show, AAA Live, every other week. Dylan, why aren't we doing it once every week? Put it in the comments below if you want us every week, man. I'm ready to do it, but I want to take it easy. We're going on a slow pace, guys. Quality takes time. We got to study. We got to do all this stuff.
Yeah, it's just a lot of work. You guys clearly put a lot of effort into studying and preparing for the show. To not that the other shows are not doing it, but it's a very analytical.
It's okay, Chandru. You can say it. One of us has a report, and the other channels don't.
No, I'm not talking about that. Like, I'm talking about the sub shows within Call to Action itself, like that have happened once a week. They are also putting a lot of effort into studying and preparing for their shows. But like, you're very analytical about it. Like, clearly you've gone back and watched all of Brandon Hanna's matches and Parker's matches in great detail. In great detail, and like, I'm guessing my matches too, to like talk about my kayfabe. So it's a lot to do, and I'm sure it takes like 2 weeks worth of free time and effort to get ready for these shows. So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate all the praise in the world, man. I mean, I love that the show is taking off, and I love that. I mean, I kept hearing competitors at Spectacular saying, "Yeah, we watch the fan podcast to try to get like study guides in," and like I just literally thought, let's just make a study guide show. Let's literally have a segment. Let's do the breakdowns. Let's have a show. Competitors, this is the show. You're wanting to get better and beat a competitor? Recommend somebody in the comments. Who do we want next on Competitor's Corner? Who do we want to break down? What's their weaknesses? What's all that good stuff? If you like this episode, make sure to give a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We're always putting out all that good stuff. Hit the bell so you know that whenever we all come live, because sometimes we don't even know when we're about to go live. And as always, as Jake said, thank you so much, Chandru, for coming on and being our first all-Asian, all-host, guest host.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited and really honored to be the first guest here.
It's been an absolute pleasure. The pleasure has been ours, my friend. That's our show, everybody. Everybody have a good night. We will see you in about another 2 weeks, week and a half, whatever. We'll figure it out when we get there. I'll see you all soon. Have a good one.
See y'all.